We're going to look at how to manage the psychological effects of widowhood. Widowhood is a very tough road, very rough and full of so many patches, and managing the psychological effects that comes with the loss of your spouse is very difficult. Many a times you cannot manage this alone, and that's why you need someone to walk with you. It's not a walk in the park, it isn't. It's a journey that you have to take a step at a minute, a step at an hour, a step at 2 hours, a step in 6 hours, a step in 12 hours, 24 hours. And how to start learning how to manage these psychological effects is not also very easy. Grief is one of those things that you can't possibly imagine until it happens to you. So it's until you lose a loved one is when you're going to know. You cannot live a life that is an imagination of grief. Like, if my husband dies, if my wife dies, if my girlfriend dies, if my boyfriend dies, for that case, you have to find yourself in it so that you can know how to live in it. For me, grief, I equate grief with like pregnancy. It's until a woman is pregnant and this woman gets to know how expensive it is to carry a pregnancy to full term. It comes with different mixed emotions and everything. It comes with so many and so much. So at the same time, what I can say is that when you have lost your spouse, you're psychologically affected. It can affect your psychological health, and your psychological health can affect your physical health. It can affect your mental health, because something that affects you psychologically, it has already interfered with your mental health, it has already interfered with your emotional health, it has already interfered with your spiritual health, it interferes with your socioeconomic health, it interferes with even your physical health sometimes. Maybe you find yourself into stress and depression, and when you find yourself into stress and depression, some of these issues of depression, they are not manageable at a one-on-one chat level or having a grief therapist. And sometimes you find that these things will get to escalate to a different level. So it is very, very important, because immediately you find yourself into this situation, you need to know how to manage it very fast. And this is where you need a grief therapist, or you need one of your friends, 2 of your friends, 3 of your friends. You need your church support groups, you need your women fellowships, you need people to rally around you. You need people to rally around you. Remember, when you have lost a spouse, this is someone you have been living with. So this is kind of immense loss. As much as I say that you cannot equate this with the loss of a parent, loss of your child, every loss is different. And this is something that I want you to understand. And many a times when you start suffering these psychological effects, you lose even the meaning of life. You don't understand. You don't understand even yourself. And you ask yourself, is it worth living? Yes, it is worth living. It's only that you can't get the meaning of life at the point that you have lost. At the point of deep, immense grief, you will never understand the meaning of life. I have been there, and I was asking myself, will life ever make sense again? And I remember, because of my painful past, because of what I went through, living with scars and learning to live with scars, you can imagine that you have lost a spouse. This spouse wanted to kill you, then the spouse commits suicide, then you have left with scars that I am the one who God helped to turn them to scars of honor. Otherwise, they were scars of shame. You have to learn how to handle the psychological effects of widowhood. It's not easy, but do not let your widowhood become a scar of shame.